What's up everyone, it's J-Kills. In this video, we're going to be using every single weapon that you can in the game, using one of the variants of that weapon that I like using the most. And then, we're going to try to mix up the builds as much as possible. Sometimes it's not really that easy to do, but I think I've got a build for each weapon that we can use that is, different in some way or another. And we're also going to be using every exotic in the game. So the Hunger, the Molten Edict, Godhand, and Twin Suns, they will be included. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So to begin with, we're going to start off with the hammer, which the hammer is one of my favorite weapons in this game. It's definitely really strong, that's for sure. There's really two hammers that I would recommend that you use, and that's the Riftstalker's hammer or the Hellion hammer. And there's a lot of different builds that you can use for the hammer depending on which one you use. You could use this build, which is pretty much just the meta build for Hellion weapons. 6 Etheric, Berserker, Conduit, Overpower, Predator, and Rage Hunter. Or you could even use something like this, which this is a build that I made up that is all power cells. And it gives you Aether Hunter, Etheric, Conduit, Knockout, Overpower, and Rage Hunter. So I actually really like this build. I don't use it that much anymore, but it is really good because it's got you covered everywhere. But for this, we are going to be using the Riftstalker hammer. It's pretty much my favorite one, so I'm just going to use this. Oh, roll. Crap. It's not what I wanted to do, but... Oh, hey, I collected all the... Come on. Oh, it's dead. Okay, so that was the hammer. I didn't reapply any tonics after I first done it, and I didn't really keep my Mighty Landbreaker up. But, there you go. Good enough. And now for sword, which the sword is going to be like the lowest one that I have. I've not really put too much time into going through and trying to get this mastery up. But, for the build, I guess I'm just going to stick with this one. It's already the meta build for Hellion weapons. You can't really go wrong with this. Wrong button. I thought I already entered, but I guess I didn't. Oh, I'm screwed. Yep, that wasn't good. And that was the sword. I'm not really like that good with the sword. It's not that I don't like it, I've just not really played it that much. But it is still pretty fun to use. It's definitely really strong. But this is the build that I often use when I do play as the sword. But there is another build that, you know, just depending on what type of mood I'm in, I'll switch back and forth between that and this one. Okay, and now for the axe. Normally, when it comes to the axe, I would use the Hellion or the Riftstalker, which I still haven't got to plus 10. I thought I did, but I didn't. I need to do that. Instead of using different weapons and the same build, I'm going to go ahead and just switch the entire build and use this. This is just a normal low life build. So it's got Conduit, Iceborne, Knockout, Rage, Sturdy, and Wild Frenzy. So when it comes to Sturdy and Wild Frenzy, if you don't want that, you don't have to have it. You can go in and take the Wild Frenzy out. You could put Molten in if you want. Let's see, Evasive Fury, Berserker. Let's just show, I mean, you can change that. You don't have to have it. Okay, and then for the Sturdy, prevents you from being staggered on a 15-second cooldown. It's actually a pretty good sell. You can take a hit and not get knocked over. And it's only 15 seconds compared to, you know, at plus 3 it's 80 seconds. So a minute and 20 seconds. That's a huge difference. I do like Sturdy in this build, but you can change it to anything you want. Since you're going to have a shield around you, if you're doing group hunts, you can put Guardian Cell on to where, you know, if you have like 200 stacks up a shield or something, the person that's close to you is going to really benefit from it. You can put Insulated on if you're going against a Shock Behemoth. 9 Lives is another one that I think is underrated for what it is, because 20% chance to half incoming damage. But the big thing is, the first time that you would be knocked out, you stay up and heal for 400 and become empowered for like 10 seconds. So actually really good. It's very underrated. But I mean, you can put tough, warmth. It's really up to you. But I am gonna go with sturdy. And we've at least got a good behemoth to show off the shield. And since this is a low life build, I don't recommend just running in and getting hit. Come on. This is why I don't really like the axe. Oh my goodness. And I'm hit. I don't have any shield either, so. The axe. Yeah, I really don't. I'm dead. No, I'm not really a fan of the axe. I'm not really a fan of the axe. I really feel like the behemoths move too much. Well, depending on which behemoth. They move too much to really make it, you know, effective. But there's the axe, and in all its glory. For the chain blades, I'm going to use this build. I don't really use it that much with chain blades. I usually just use the Hellion one, so... Let's see, Etheric Berserker, Conduit, Overpower, Rage Hunter, and then Predator. Well, Frenzy, the same as before. Momentum and Reaper's Dance. Yeah, everything is rots. So, let's go. Okay, since this is a Blaze Behemoth, I did take Berserker out, and put Molten in, so no Berserker again. Really? bosses upcoming. Yeah, I don't really know what that was. And there was the chain blades. Only difference is no berserker, so it would have been just a little bit faster with berserker, but you know, chain blades now compared to chain blades in the beginning, a lot better, a lot more fun, and just overall like a really strong weapon now. Doesn't really matter which one you use. You can use Rivstalkers, Hellions, whatever. Like, this thing is like really good now. Okay, so for the Pike, figured I might as well go ahead and, you know, use as many different builds as I can. This isn't one that I would really use right now. I think I would just use the Hellion Meta or the Rivstalker build. The Rivstalker Pike, actually not that bad. I won't be able to use it with this build though. It would be off. But again, +6 adrenaline, conduit, endurance, evasive, overpower, and rage hunter. The object with this one is to try to be at low stamina while still having stamina to iframe. So I don't think I'm going to use the stamina tonic. I think I'm just going to go with this. He's not gonna... Okay, there we go. Oh, that was too early. Shit. And too early again. I'm really doing good. I didn't have any stamina. So as you can see with this build, with low stamina, you can actually do really well. The only thing that I would change from what I've done to what I would suggest is to not wait on Savage Wellspring. I was trying to get all 3 missiles filled up, and then with the third one, like with the bar full, I would activate it and then have, you know, the meter full to do even more damage and just keep restocking the missiles that way. I only got to pull one off, so and I didn't even wait on that one to get full. I really thought it was about to die, so I went ahead and used it. That's really the only thing that I would suggest you do different. Okay, for the repeaters, I'm just going to use this build: Etheric, Berserker, Conduit, Molten, Predator, and then +3 Sprinter. Sprinter is definitely the best thing to use in repeaters. You get a -15 max stamina, but a 10% movement speed increase and a -20% reduced sprint cost. So with a weapon that you move around really slow in, really good. For the barrel, I'm just going to use this one. I think it's the highest one I have. I didn't really use the repeaters that much until Shroud became the Trial Behemoth. And then I went through and got the Dawn Star barrel up. So that's why we're using that. Full bore chamber, Captain's Grip, Tactician's Magazine. The best mod for the regular repeaters. And then Searing Prism on top of that. Okay, since the Behemoth is Scorchstone Hellion, I did switch the barrel. I went from the +14 Dawn Star to the +11 Blizzard. It would still be more damage anyway, so yeah. And beautiful. I really wish I wouldn't draw behind me. And I went in range or empower me. I said I went in range. I'm making all kinds of mistakes right now. Crap. I missed it. Heal. Yeah, I can't even get that ready to dead, so it doesn't really matter. That was the first time that I've used the normal repeaters since the Twin Sons have came out. I definitely didn't play it the way that you should. For some reason, I wasn't using my full bore chamber like I should be. I was, for some reason, thinking that I had Lucky Magazine in, and I was trying to use the full bore chamber when I had 0 rounds left in the clip. I completely forgot that I had Tactician's magazine in, so I definitely did not play that how you're supposed to. My bad. And now for the Aether Strikers. For this, I'm going to use a build that I did show in the other video, but I didn't show gameplay using it. I actually used another variation. So this one's going to have Etheric, Conduit, Cunning, Overpower, Predator, and Rage Hunter, as well as Titan's Crash and Echo Brace Driver. I really hope using all these different weapons isn't going to mess with me when it comes to doing what I need to do. I rolled. Come on, game. I didn't actually mean that what I mean, but roll. No. I'm not doing that good. Buddy's dead. That was quick. And that was the Aether Strikers. Really fast fight, as you can tell. Like, extremely overpowered. It doesn't really matter, like, what build you use. The behemoth dies quick. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, personally, I like the build that has Cunning and Berserker in it, but this is still really good. And you could even, you know, take out the Overpower and put in a Discipline if you wanted to. I mean, that's really up to you. Okay, so before we get started, there's a couple of the exotics that I've not fully upgraded. And the gear that I would use in these builds, a couple of the pieces I've not fully upgraded either. But it's still fine. It's still good enough to at least show it off. So to start with, we're going to be using the Hunger. For the build, we're going with Etheric, Evasive, Overpower, Rage Hunter, Conduit, and Conditioning. This would be +6 and +3. I don't have 2 pieces at +10. I don't really want to waste any material right now, so this is fine. And let's go ahead and do a behemoth. Oh yeah, there's something that I forgot to show. The weapon itself, like, it's got 3 eyes that look around on the back of it. In terms of, like, the way this weapon looks, this is one of the coolest ones in the game. Like, the eyes just open and close, and the eyeballs just, like, look around. It's definitely really cool. This is the first time I'm actually ever using this. get it. No, no, no. Ah, I lost it. Crap. And there's the hunger. I mean, not too much different than any other sword, but it's still relatively fun. I am eventually going to get this to plus 10 and use it a little bit more. That was actually the first time I've ever used it. I don't know, I just always heard bad stuff about it, so I never used it. I never upgraded it. When it comes to Molten Edict, I didn't already have a build put together for this. I've used it before, but I would just go without something for the defensive cell. I would pretty much use the Hellion build minus +3 Rage Hunter or something. So I wanted to actually make a build, and I'm not really thrilled with this one, but it'll do for now. We've got +6 Etheric, Overpower, Predator, Rage Hunter, Conduit, and Tough. So, the Conduit should be +6, but that's only +9. I didn't really know what to put here. I could do Sturdy, but that's like an 80-second cooldown, so it's a minute and 20 seconds. It's pretty much useless. So Tough is about it. Even non-lives, I mean, it's a 12% chance, which isn't horrible, but not great. So we're just going to go with Tough, and I think this is good enough. Okay, so the Slam produces a lava ball. I remember that. I'm not going to be using any blast, so I don't need the ammo to be 6. But I could leave it there and prime my shots. I do want to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to use Anti-Clip, which is probably one of the worst mods in the game. And there's no Mighty Landbreaker, nothing like that. And this is the coolest thing about it right here. That lava ball just like goes through the behemoth, and it's awesome. As you can see, like, the damage can pick up pretty high. I'm not gonna be able to roll. You can see the damage, like, as the lava ball is rolling through the behemoth. It's really fun. I should have probably done a higher difficulty, but it's okay. And that was the Molten Edict. It's a really cool idea. Like, that lava ball just rolling through the behemoth and doing, like, thousands of damage. It's a good concept, but the weapon itself, it's just not that good. Like, if they can make it better, keep all the stuff, the same. Maybe make the fireballs that you can shoot out and be able to interrupt. This could be something that, more people would use. A lot of people don't use it anymore since you can't glitch out the fireball, like, by jumping and shooting. But it's still really cool. I remember when I got the blueprint for it, I immediately went and got it to +7, used it, thought it was amazing, and then never used it again until now. And now for the Godhand. I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to decide on a build that I want to use. Let's see, this one has Etheric, Berserker, Predator, Rage Hunter, Sharpened, and Energized. For some reason, does Energized actually affect it? I think that's why I made this, to see if Energize did affect it. Okay, this is the one I'm going to use. Etheric, Berserker, Molten, Rage Hunter, and Sharpen, along with +3 Predator. Okay, so I've already changed my mind. We're going to do Etheric, Predator, Rage Hunter, Savagery, Sharpen, and Acidic. I want to try to make these builds like different in their variation, and I've not done like a wound build at all yet. Okay, so this is a neutral patrol. I'm trying to complete bounties while I'm doing this. So the big thing with a wound build is that you always want to keep your tonic up, your insult tonic. It's really hard to get that piercing flurry combo off on a behemoth because they constantly move. So to wound behemoths, it takes some time. I'll say that. And I've always heard that you do more damage with the Pike if your meter is full, so I'm trying to get the meter back full, like that. Now do it. And there we go. So I didn't think this would actually last long, but... And that is the Godhand. What used to be a really strong weapon because of a glitch has turned into that, which, I mean, it's not horrible, but it's just really not that good. I'm not a big fan of wound builds, especially with the Pike. Your piercing flurry attack, it's so slow, and the behemoths just move out of the way most of the time. Like, they either back up or they lift up and you can't hit them in the head anymore. When you start the combo, more than likely during the repeated part of it, you're not going to hit the behemoth. So that's why one reason I'm not a fan of those builds on the Pike. But I figured it would be different, so I did it. And now for our last exotic, the Twin Suns. The build on this one I've already covered in one of the videos. I don't really remember which one, but it has Etheric, Berserker, Conduit, Cunning, and then +3 Molten, Predator, and Sprinter. So this build, it's got 3 +3s. I mean, even the Predator and the Molten, I wish I could make it to where I could just get one of the other. I would honestly prefer to have +6 Molten than I would to have +3 Predator, but I've not found a way to do that. I can get the +6 Predator without the Molten, but then I'd be losing, you know, a Berserker or a Cunning, something like that. So, I mean, this is a good build. It's fine. The most important thing is that it has Cunning and Berserker in it. So, let's go ahead and go. Hopefully I don't play this one like the normal repeaters, kind of like I done the normal repeaters for this one. Okay, that was delayed. I didn't have any stamina. Oh, nice damage, 2,000 right there. Come on, it shouldn't curve. Yeah, I hit square, but I still got hit. Really fun weapon. And that was the Twin Suns. It's a really fun weapon. One of my favorites to use. I don't like some of the stuff that will and end up in some kind of, you know, place to where you're just gonna get hit. That's a bad thing. Using square to teleport through an attack and not having the little mini bombs occur. That happens every now and then. But really good damage off of it if you crit. This is a weapon that would really benefit from running with someone that is using Pike and has Savage Wellspring. You could get another 25% crit and, you know, use your mag bomb mode while they have that active. And you could crit like really well. It's actually really fun. I've ran with someone on a Pike a couple of times, and I think I had like six of the bombs crit, and then 2 didn't. So when they do crit, you can have some really good numbers. But that's going to do it for this video. That was every single weapon top using, you know, one of my favorites in that weapon, plus a build that was either really good or really bad. I really wanted to do different builds for each weapon, but in the end, it's really hard to do that. There's so many builds that are good for one weapon in, you know, every class. Like the Hellion builds. Every single Hellion weapon would do good with the Hellion weapon build. I tried not to do that. I really hope I did good, but you all have a great day. Alright, see you.